Right lads, first YouTube video with the slides today. Gonna go through basically just a body recomp guide, how to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. I know that's the goal a lot of us have coming into the summer. In terms of what a recomp is, it's gaining muscle and losing fat simultaneously. Both of them can definitely be done together under the right conditions, like I'm going to go through here now in a minute. I think a body recomp is pretty ideal, probably for most beginners in the gym where you're in that kind of skinny fat phase. Obviously, if you're starting from a place of being a bit overweight, you want to focus more on the cutting side of things. On the flip side of that, if you're really skinny but you still have no muscle definition, your focus is going to be a lot more on bulking up as opposed to kind of being in a calorie deficit and trying to lose weight. Step one is your training. Your weight training has to be your priority. Even if you're trying to lose body fat, you think you need to do endless cardio, weight training is going to be your best friend. Building more muscle is going to build up your metabolism more. It's going to take more calories for you to maintain your current body weight. And down the line for you, it's just going to be a lot easier to maintain a healthier body weight. Now, when you are doing your weight training, your focus has to be on progression. You're looking for anything that constitutes progress in the gym. Getting an extra rep each time you train, trying to increase the weight that you're lifting over time. This is called progressive overload, and it's the key to building muscle. You've probably heard me say that a million times before, but it really is. You need to give your muscles the reason to adapt and grow. So what I want you to do when you're actually setting up your training is pick one split and just stick to it. So whether you're going to go to the gym 3 days a week, maybe do 3 days of full body, alternate between 2 workouts. If you're going 4 days, maybe an upper-lower split. 5 days, maybe just alternate on a push-pull leg cycle. Don't overcomplicate your training. You don't need to go and do any of these fancy exercises. All the basics works the best. All them basic compound exercises, throw in a couple of isolation exercises. As I said, the progression is going to be your key, so sticking to the same split and trying to progress it over time, at least you can track all your lifts then. If you're always chopping and changing your exercises, it's very hard to see that progress week by week. Cardio can also be done as an extra little help. I'll get onto that now in a minute. Step 2 is calories. You need to be in a calorie deficit if you want to achieve a body recomp. The whole principle of losing body fat is being in a calorie deficit. A lot of people think to grow muscle you need to be in a calorie surplus, but that's just not true. So you need to be in a deficit for your body recomp. Being in a calorie deficit, it literally just means you're eating less calories than you're burning on a daily basis. So what you can do to find your calories is go to a calorie calculator online. Caloriecalculator.net is the one that I always use. You put in all your information here, your weight, your height, your activity level. It's going to spit out a rough number for you for your maintenance calories. Subtract that by about 200 and track your weight closely for about 2 or 3 weeks. See if your weight is dropping. If it's dropping, great, it means you're in your calorie deficit. If it's staying about the same, cut the calories by a little bit more. Your weight is going up, obviously you have to cut the calories by quite a good bit more. I was saying subtract 200 there, so that's a good kind of deficit to start off with. It's not too aggressive, only 200 under your maintenance calories. You can reduce this over time then. So 200, once you hit a plateau, drop it by another 200 say. Being in a massive calorie deficit, I'd often advise people to avoid. This is when your life just becomes miserable and you're starving all the time and you're knackered. So step number 3 is getting enough protein. Obviously this is into the muscle growth side of things now. Protein is the building blocks of muscle and it's going to help with your growth and repair from your gym workouts that you're doing. To find your daily protein target, you want to get your body weight in kg and multiply that by 2, and that's going to be your protein target. So for example, if I weigh 80 kg, I'm going to double that. I'm going to get 160, and that's how many grams of protein I should be aiming for each day. The massive benefits of protein, so even looking at it from a fat loss perspective, it fills you up more. It's going to help you avoid hunger and cravings. Protein is by far the most satiating macronutrient. It's going to fill you up more than carbohydrates and fats will. And to be honest with you, as far as personal trainers go, I'm one of the more sympathetic ones, but I think when it comes to getting your protein in this day and age, there's no excuse for not hitting your protein target. Best sources I could think of off the top of my head, you've got meat, you've got eggs, fish, whey protein, and certain snacks. In Aldi and Lidl, Tesco, Dunnes, all the big supermarkets, you'll find a full section full of protein snacks. Definitely find one that tickles your fancy. You've got protein pudding, yogurts, pouches, everything. Protein bars as well, obviously. On the cardio, we chatted briefly about it a few minutes ago. It's not needed to burn fat, but it is a great tool to torch extra calories. As I said, losing weight and losing fat is just all calorie dependent. Cardio is going to help you burn extra calories, but it's not actually physically going to burn fat, if that makes sense. With your cardio, there's really no need to go overboard with it. I think steps are a great way to stay active for one thing and burn calories for another. You'll often hear the magic number spit out, 10,000 steps a day. It's not a magic number, it's just a good movement target to aim for. Nice nice round number as well, easy to memorise. I'd often say to people, try and build your steps up over time, especially now we're coming into the summer. The weather's getting a little nicer, it's easier to go out, go for a long walk, you're getting your step count up. Great way of kind of doing cardio, but it's not exactly formal cardio, I'd call it. So it's not like you're going to the gym and saying, I'm doing cardio now. It's just something you can kind of work into your daily life as it is already. And if you're staying really consistent with your walks, you're going to burn loads and loads of calories, but it's not going to take too much out of your body and make it hard to recover from. Say if you're doing HIIT training every day a week on the treadmill, you're going to be fucking knackered and you won't be able to bring your full intensity to your weight training sessions then. The best tip I can give people for when they're doing cardio is doing something enjoyable. Going to the gym, going on the treadmill, going on the bike for an hour at a time at a steady pace, it's fucking boring. If you like doing it and you like listening to a podcast or music or whatever while you're doing it, fair enough. But if I was in a position like this and I'm trying to lose some weight, I'm going to do something I enjoy. Football, swimming, martial arts, any sport you enjoy, or as I said, going for walks even with your mates or a family member, it's going to help burn extra calories and you're not even really thinking that you're burning extra calories. Last thing I'm going to go over is your sleep. It has such a fucking massive effect on your gym performance. If you're sleeping well, you can bring a lot more intensity to your workouts, then it's going to be much easier for you to progress in the gym. And as I said earlier, that's the key to building muscle. Sleep also regulates pretty much every hormone in your body, sex hormones included, so that would be testosterone, estrogen. If these hormones are at a heavy level, depending on whether you're male or female, it's going to optimise the amount of results you can get and the amount of muscle you're ultimately going to be able to build, and it's going to help you lose fat as well. Another thing with sleep, if you're underslept and you're in a calorie deprived state, so in a calorie deficit, it means you're going to be losing actually probably more muscle mass than you will fat mass. When you're well slept, it means you're going to lose fat and your muscle's going to stay intact, especially when you're keeping your protein high as well. Other hormones that a lack of sleep can throw out of check is leptin and ghrelin, which both regulate your appetite. If they're out of check, you're going to be finding yourself going straight to the press looking for any shite you can eat. You're always going to find yourself overeating, and ultimately your appetite is just very hard to control if you're not sleeping well. I've often heard sleep described as the best performance enhancer on earth that not a lot of people are actually using, and I tend to agree with it. If you want to learn more about sleep, I'd say go and listen to Matthew Walker. First time I listened to him was on Joe Rogan's podcast, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. I listened to him a lot recently on the Andrew Huberman podcast as well. They're actually doing a 6-part podcast kind of series. Each are like 2 or 3 hours long, all about sleep, and it gives you a massive breakdown on the importance of sleep and how to optimise it.